Good morning, everybody, and how is everybody this morning? I'm doing great because I got my coffee and I got my Cafe Bustelo. I finally got it back. Woo! I had run out and I hadn't had any for quite a while, and I was kind of like really wanting Cafe Bustelo. We went to the store the other day and they had some, so here we go. Yeah, I've got the little espresso cups, but I like my mugs better. So, anyway, today, what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about me. How's that? Me. Many of you know a lot about me, and many of you don't know anything at all about me. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of info. Of course, you know, we don't tell everything about ourselves. That's dangerous. Very dangerous. So, you know, you give as much as you can and be honest and open about it. But being careful. All right. I was born in Key West, Florida. 523 Louisa Street. I was delivered by a woman named ElsaDoran. I am Spanish descent. My grandparents were both from Spain. Goodness gracious, I'm drooling. And they came to America through Mexico. My grandfather's uncle had died, and his uncle had moved to Mexico years before. I mean, this was what, before the turn of the century, last century. Anyway, and he inherited a cantina from my grandfather's uncle. Wait a minute, let me go back again. My grandfather inherited the cantina from his uncle in Mexico. So right after they got married, my grandmother and grandfather, they moved to Mexico. And then Grandma had children. She kept having children. She had 9 altogether. 9, let's put it, 9 births. Only 4 survived. Those days were bad. Those were hard. My mother was the only girl. Otherwise, she had boys. And my mother was the last one to survive. She passed away in 17? Wait. No, in 2007. She was 90 years old. Lived a long life. My mom lived a long life. She was a beautiful woman. Anyway, my mother was born in Tampa. My uncles were born, I don't even know where they were born, honestly. I know one was born in Mexico, but birth certificate says he was born in the United States. So, don't know how they did that back then, but they did that. Then when my grandfather came to America, he bought a cigar factory in Key West. And he had it until he died. I think my mother was 17 when he died. So I never got to meet my grandfather. But my grandmother, oh yeah, I met her. She was my world. I miss her to this day, and she's been dead over 50 years, but I miss her dearly. Just miss her. Anyway, so when I was 14, we moved from Key West to Miami. Big mistake. Anyway, we moved to Miami, Florida, like I was saying, and yeah, that was a big mistake, because I loved I loved living in Key West. I was like an island girl. Yeah, in the East Coast, not the West Coast. Got married when I was 18 and had 2 boys in that marriage, and did not work out. It wasn't nothing bad. He was a good man. Just we were too young and shouldn't have done it in the first place. But anyway, I ended up having 7 children altogether. I've been married several times. I'm not going to say because it's nobody's business, but more than I should have or more than I cared to, and big mistakes in between. But I think a lot of us make a lot of mistakes. Some admit it, some don't. I admit it. Why? What the heck? Did I learn from them? Not for a while, but finally did. My grandmother was a psychic medium, and I am empathic. And some abilities I have, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't define who I really am. As I was growing up, as a teenager, as a young 20s, even to my 30s, it was like I was growing. I had, I felt like I missed something in life. And I was always searching. Sometimes I searched the wrong places, but I searched. Finally found it. I finally found me, which I am glad of who I found. I like the person who I am. Not to say I didn't like the person I was, because no matter what, that is who you are at the time. And when you're in that stage, you like who you are. Let's face it. But when you look back, you go, oh Lord, what did I do? Why did I do that? You really start questioning yourself, and then you start questioning your changes. And either you like it or you don't. I'm proud. I'm proud that I am who I am, that I've always been sympathetic to others. I've always, no matter how old I was, I always try to help other people. I always believed that there is good in everyone. I mean, everyone. There is bad in a lot of us. And, a lot of us that have that bad, you have to stop and think of what got them there, why, what in their life, what happened, and why they're the way they are. No excuse that, oh, you had a bad parent, so now you're a bad parent. That's no excuse. I mean, I made excuses. But not that I had bad parents, because I had a wonderful mother. Mother and father were divorced when I was very young. My father committed bigamy the day I was born. He married another woman without allowing my mother to know it, because my mother had me in Key West and my father was stationed in West Virginia, I believe it was. And yeah, he married some woman. Poor me. Not really. I mean, I met my father. I had time to know him. And no, I'm not happy about what I learned, but no matter what, he was my father. And it is what it is, A lot of people say, how can you forgive for things that occur in your life by others? And I say, if I don't forgive, how can I be forgiven for the things I've done wrong? Because we've all done wrong. There's no perfection out there. Believe me, there's no perfection. So anyway, on down the line, I wasn't the best of moms when I was younger. No, I admit it, I wasn't. I was not. I made many, many mistakes when it came to my children. It was after I hit 40s and I had my youngest child that I started realizing that I had to change my life in order to make their life better. And I did, completely. Completely. As far as my beliefs in God, I've always had belief in God. Now, I'm not saying I didn't stray away because, and I think the reason that I strayed away was because I knew that God was not going to approve of my ways and my way of life at the time. So I had to get away from Him so that I didn't feel guilt or remorse or anything like that. And then when I finally started to reach to Him and say, Lord, I know you're real. I know you're there. I know I'm survived because of you. I started to go to church a lot. I raised my 2 youngest in church. Yeah, every time it was open, we were there. But sometimes the attitudes of people in church, and not just the people in church, but even the pastors in the church, kind of make you want to run away. I ran away from the church. I never ran away from God again. Never. But I ran away from the church. I did. I just could not stand the hypocrisy that I felt was going on in the church. So I quit going to church for a long time. Believe in God? Yes, always. Trust in God? Yes, always. But church, I would not even, I didn't even think about going into one. I decided that was it. They were all the same. Until I met Paul. And when I met Paul, I got to go to his church. And the love that I felt in that church, always, and still do. Even though I'm not there and I'm not going there, I still feel that love. It's so strong. It was like all of a sudden you knew that you were in the right place, that there was the Holy Spirit just filling that whole place up. The people were, and still are, the same way they were when I met them. They are the same way now. They're caring, they're loving, they're giving, they're sharing, they're everything godly. And yeah, I miss church. I miss going to church. I miss Paul and Melissa and Pastor Taylor and Mr. Holloway and Miss Mary and, Brenda. I miss them all. But God has a purpose for me, and I know what the purpose is, so I must follow it. Sometimes people are not in total agreement with my way of thinking or my way of feeling or the way I see God, but that's the way I see God. We all see Him in different ways, and I see Him as my loving, caring, giving, protecting, forgiving. And that's what we all need, is forgiveness. I reached out to Him more than once to forgive me. But sincerely, it took many years for me to really, a lot of times you say, oh God, forgive me, I did this or I did that. Oh my God. But to truly ask for forgiveness from deep in here and knowing that you really mean it. It's not just words. It's feelings, it's emotions, it's heart. It's different. And I know that I was forgiven. And I know that my time, hopefully I'll live a long time. My mother was 90. But whatever time I have left, I want to give it to him. I want to see him when I go. I want to be with him when I go. And I don't care who else is there. I mean, yeah, I do. But I mean, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, you'll see your mother, your father, your grandmother, your whatever. It doesn't matter. I just want to see my God. That's all I want to see. I want to see Jesus. I want to thank him for saving my life again and again and again and again. I want to thank him. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to quit now. I'll continue this later. But right now I got to quit. Because I get too emotional and I'm going to start bawling, and I don't want to do that. So, I love you all. Thank you so much for supporting me all this time and for being my family. I don't know you personally, but I feel you. Peace. God bless you.